Well, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Spa-Francorchamps. Welcome back to the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine. Race 1 is about to get underway under what can only be described as clear conditions with patchy clouds all over the place as well. Certainly after a tremendous qualifying, we're going to now witness a tremendous race, no doubt, as well, with some of the best drivers on the grid, certainly the best drivers in single-seater racing, making their way through the feeder series. Track temperature 38.6, certainly there showing, as well as humidity at 48. The sky's recording at 19.5 degrees as well. But now you can see certainly the most fascinating, fantastic shots of Spa-Francorchamps making their way up through, of course, Eau Rouge, Radion, through Kemmel. The Ardennes forest certainly does light up well under the sunshine. There you can see the spectators as well watching on. It's been a very, very busy weekend because it is the 24-hour weekend as well. A pleasure to bring the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine back as well to this very weekend, as it has done so over the last several years, but now here for this year as well, once again in 2023. And it has to be said, qualifying was sensational. We, of course, had qualifying for this very race earlier on today. This morning, it gave Rafael Camara his chance from pole position, and Prema returning to the front end as well, ahead of that of Tim Tramnitz, who qualified fastest in his group as well. That, of course, being Group B. Of course, so Camara in Group B as well, topping the Group A, sorry, topping the charts in that one. He has got two R-Race GPs behind him, though, because Martini Stenshorn is going to be lining up alongside that of Andrea Kimi Antonelli. So it's a Prema R-Race group in the top four, which definitely does throw up something really fascinating, considering that these are the two teams that are locked in for the Teams Championship at the very top. 171 points coming into the weekend for R-Race GP, and Prema sat on 131. Martini Stenshorn, though, coming in as the championship leader, as the current driver standings championship leader, 99 points to his name after a convincing season so far for him, scooping up race wins. But there is the man we're all talking about, Camara. After that sensational qualifying session, he starts on pole position, and the Brazilian will be looking to take that all the way to the very end of the race, where he'll hope to score the big points as well. And certainly Prema have a good record when it comes to racing here. Of course, last season I alluded to it in qualifying, that of course being Dino Beganovic and Paul Aaron, who would go on to take race wins for Prema last year, and Beganovic also doing exactly the same the year prior as a rookie in terms of the rookie standings. So they'll be looking to certainly strike big points here this time as well, and it could leave the championship in a very different place to where it entered this weekend. As you can see, the pit crew's very, very busy. The tyres now making their way out onto the circuit. Plenty of laps to bring you, certainly lots of action. The drivers highlighting, obviously, the initial sector as a very prominent place for overtaking. Obviously, you have got the run down through towards La Source, but you've got to factor in that rise through Eau Rouge and Radion as well. The long stretch through Kemmel that'll take you all the way up towards Les Combes, where we've seen many a driver execute moves heading through that section. There is Tim Tramnitz, who lines up in second place, currently on the front row as well. The German, who has been in absolute lofty form up to now. In terms of free practice that we had at the start of the season, the collective test 2, we went fastest there, followed it up with another sensational qualifying session as well for both this race and also tomorrow's race as well. So keep your eyes peeled on this young man. Could do exactly the same as what he did in Barcelona, which was taking 2 race wins right across the weekend. Could we see something similar this time out? We'll have to wait and see. As you can see now, more and more of the pit crews making their way through. Another R-Race GP car, this time that of Martini Stenshorn. One of the feel-good factors, and we spoke to team boss Thibaut as well. Of course, Martini Stenshorn, he cites him as an extraordinary figure. Certainly this season has managed to perform a miraculous string of results, certainly all the way back from Imola, where he took the race win in race 1, followed it up with a P2 in race 2, and then came back to winning ways after a tricky time at Barcelona, scored 6 points in Barcelona, but followed it up at Hungaroring with 2 race wins in race 1 and 2, back to his best that we obviously saw back at Imola too. So you never know, he might run that further, might come and bring that to Spa as well, have every chance. Andrea Kimi Antonelli still chasing his first race win of the season, but arguably one of the most competitive and certainly consistent drivers on the grid. Of course, already a trail of accolades to this young man, and obviously backed by the Mercedes Driver Academy. Has a lot of people behind him supporting him through his junior career, and as many of these drivers are obviously setting their sights on the realms of Formula One, Kimi will certainly be no different. Another great qualifying performance from Lorenzo Flucher, the Spanish driver, bringing Prema a 1-2-3 up at the sharp end as well. So it's 5th place. That's where he's starting. We have had quite a series of penalties that have been distributed after a hectic qualifying session. These actually carry over as well from Hungaroring, of course. Alessandro Giusti, Kaz Havercourt, Kirill Small and Marcus Amand all being given 2-position grid penalties, and therefore that will affect their starting place on this grid in conjunction with where they qualified. So there we have it. That is what we've got to look at, folks. Obviously, Kimi had every chance of setting a really pacey lap of his own, but remember, he had the traffic after he set that sensational middle sector, actually broke into the 59s, which we haven't seen any, if a lot of, and it certainly has been special to watch. But can he execute here in the race? He's going to need to if he wants to bring home a race win or maybe even another podium to his name. He is not too far away from it, so certainly it will come into question. Obviously 3 podiums to his name already, taken at Imola and 2 at Barcelona as well, where he tried to contest that of Tim Tramnitz up at the front end. Tramnitz just too good on that occasion. But there are the cars now, all lined up and ready to go. We will have a formation lap to get us underway. But prior to that, obviously the drivers will have to get themselves set, wait for the lights to obviously direct them. There is the pace car in behind, and away they go on the formation lap. And Rafael Camara will be the man to take them away, where they will now set the tyres, get them warmed up, nicely up to temperature, and in a bid to try and take advantage heading down towards turn 1. Plenty of drivers to keep an eye on as well. Maya Wayug as well. She has been a sensation this weekend, managing to perform brilliantly in her stint, and a sensational 3rd fastest in her group as well, and lines up very handily, certainly in the top 5, certainly in the top 6 of all things as well, alongside that of Lorenzo Flucher. So if she gets a good start as well, the Kick Motorsport driver might find something really special. Here's the grid order now, folks. It's Rafael Camara starting from pole with Tim Tramnitz in 2nd place. Martinia Stenshorn lines up in 3rd for our Race GP, with Andrea Kimi Antonelli in 4th as well. P5, that goes to Lorenzo Flucher and Prema, with Maya Wayug in 6th place. Joshua Dirksen in 7th for Arden. 8th place goes to Matteo Capietto for RPM. Santiago Ramos lines up in 9th place for RPM as well, with Victor Bernier in 10th. Joshua Dufek lines up in 11th for Van Amersfoort Racing. Nikhil Bora for Trident in 12th. Kirill Small in 13th for Monolight Racing, and then Roman Belinsky bidding to try and improve again here in the Trident. P14 is where he starts. Tom Levin in 15th, with Michael Belov in 16th as well. 17th place goes to Owen Tangavelu, with Kaz Havercourt of Van Amersfoort again in 18th place. Hadrian David, the wild card for this weekend, comes in for ART in 19th, with Matthias Zagazeta in 20th place for RAce GP. Alessandro Giusti in 21st, with Delano Van 't Hoff in 22nd place. Lawrence Van Hoopen starts from 23rd, with Sami Megatune in 24th. Emerson Fittipaldi Jr. lines up in 25th place for Santalok, with Esteban Masson, his fellow comrade, in Santalok in 26th place. Marcus Amand in 27th, with Levente Ravesh in 28th place. Niels Coulin will line up in 29th alongside Giovanni Maschio in 30th place as well. Lucas Medina in 31st, with Alexander Partyshev in 32nd, with Enzo Scianti in 33rd, with Alan Fitzgerald in 34th place. So that is your grid order, folks. The drivers that will be setting a precedence here at Spa-Francorchamps. Now, last year, of course, you might recall, we did have a couple of incidents that led to yellow and red flags. Certainly, this is a massive circuit as well and holds a lot of heritage in motorsport. The drivers all want to win here at Spa. They want to win in general, but a win at Spa, especially in a weekend such as this, driven, of course, by the major weekend that's behind the 24-hour weekend. Obviously, that does sort of allay some special moments in a driver's career, and certainly for these drivers in Formula Regional, they'll be looking for exactly that. 3.452 miles ahead of the drivers, 7.004 kilometers, and the circuit layout, the current layout that has been amended in recent years. This is the current 2022 layout that exists to this day. Of course, the adjusted embankment heading up through Rouge and Radion, and then of course you've got turn 10 when you head around the Jackie X corner as well. That has been opened up, and obviously you get several different series racing here, motorbikes as well as single-seaters, GT3s of course that we're seeing all weekend, sports cars in general, as the cars now get set and ready to line up onto the grid Is it going to be Prema on top? Is it going to be our race? Could it be someone new? Let's wait and see. The cars now lining up in their grid spots. There you see Kamara on the left. On the right, that is Tim Tramnitz. Both of them are going to be nip and tuck heading down through towards turn one. Who's going to get the better getaway? We saw Tramnitz get a better getaway when we went racing back in Spain in Barcelona. And there, of course, we got the last remaining cars now making their way up. We just saw Niels Coulin making his way up, Giovanni Maschio as well, Lucas Medina. There's Adam Fitzgerald as part of the Irish team RPM. The last few now making their way up to their grid slots. Any minute now we'll see the green flags being waved here at Spa as the last of them line up now. There's the pace car in the back as we get set. Green flag is now going to be waved. Here come the lights, ladies and gentlemen. Fourth light and the fifth light. And it's pedal to the metal, and it is go, 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 go. A fantastic start from Rafael Kamara, trying to cut off to the inside, Martinia Stenshorn. Tim Tramnitz round the outside, controls P2, holds P2. His teammate comes to join him as well. In behind as well, you can see the Lorenzo Flusha going behind his teammate Andrea Kimi Antonelli. Two MP Motorsport cars as well, side by side, as they look to try and climb through towards Eau Rouge and Radion. A successful start, certainly up at the front end. It is going to be Kamara who leads. There are the MP Motorsport cars now flying up through Eau Rouge and Radion, and through the Kemmel Straight they go. Up now the RPM team as well, looking for moves on the outside. They're going three wide now, heading through that section, but a battle for the lead has taken place. Kamara still holds on to it though. Tramnitz trying to give him a headache as they make their way through. Further down, we're seeing more battling as well. Santiago Ramos getting right into the mix of it. Meowiuk trying to defend the place as well. Further up, they're shuffling in, nose to tail, side by side as well. It's Noah's Ark as they go 2 by 2 through Malmedy, but still it is Kamara who leads the way with Tramnitz in second place, Stenshorn in third. We've got further movements further back as well as the cars now begin to filter out. It's Kamara who leads the way. A great getaway, a perfect getaway for the man who started on pole, and he has Tramnitz in hot pursuit. They now enter Pouhon. The cars now looking to roam free. They're going to look to settle down, some side-by-side action yet again. That's Esteban Masson getting to the middle of it as well. He's got good company around him. Of course, Sauber Academy driver Marcus Amand right behind him too, as we see them all now work their way through the next section as they come through Les Farniers and down through towards Campus and Stavolo. Once again, a little bit of a look there as well. We're just seeing a few cars perhaps showing in the mirrors of a few of them there. Some side-by-sides as well further down as we see them all come together. Marcus Amand being one of them as they dip off into the gravel trap. That's Amand, who of course has unfortunately suffered that 2-place grid penalty. That was it for impeding Zagazetra, of course, at Hungaroring last time out. And obviously coming under hefty fire as he made his way through the gravel trap there, just dipped his toes in it slightly. A lovely move around the outside as well. That's an Arden car making its way through. Very defensive as well from the Van Amersfoort that's making its way. Oh, a very wide move there as well. Who's that? Just making their way around. Looks like it might be an R-Race GP car there, just trying to recover further back as we're seeing the Tridents also make their way through. But Lorenzo Flusha also getting off to a great start as well for Prema. All three Premas in the top 5 still, as they have been. We just see a little bit of jostling for position there as well as Hadrian David, of course, on his return to Formula Regional European Championship, trying to work his way back up the field, and has done so brilliantly. Roman Belinsky has lost a couple of places. Michael Bellov, though, however, has gained a few. Joshua Dirksen also up to 6th place, managing to lift himself higher than Matteo Capietto. And Meowiuk has lost a couple as well, as we now see some side-by-side action heading up through now towards the next embankment of Lecom. A move here from Tramnitz as he looks around the outside of Kamara. Can't find a way through. Kamara defending here, and also up at the sharp end as well, Kimi Antonelli looking for a move as well for 3rd place. Stenshorn, though, standing fast. The two drivers who are obviously looking to try and battle for the podium places. Every point counts in this massive battle as the car dips off into the gravel out of Malmedy. It's still, at this moment in time, Rafael Kamara who leads the way. The gap now increasing slightly. He's managed to advance it to nearly 0.2 of a second as Tramnitz now looks to follow suit. There's a little gap then to Martinia Stenshorn, who's nearly a second out. And that, of course, will invite Andrea Kimi Antonelli to perhaps even battle for that 3rd place as well. He can benefit off the slipstream, especially coming down through Blanchimont. Another opportunity to overtake around that segment there. A little bit of movement as we see the RPM. And that, of course, the RPM being driven by Santiago Ramos, who was absolutely sensational in qualifying yesterday for Saturday's race, managing to get the top time in his group. Unfortunately, it didn't work, managing to defend and under convincing pressure at this point as well, as the cars now whip through this final sector once again. Plenty of racing still to go. 25 minutes and 40 seconds of the realm, as now we see the RPM car make its way through this next left-hander. Of course, Ramos chasing Josh Dufek at this point. There at the top end is Kamara, as he now makes his way in towards bus stop. Tramnitz still holding firm in his position as well. Antonelli is pushing and did actually post the fastest first sector as well last time around, as there we see the Arden car. That, of course, being Tom Leben, trying to hold on to his position as well. Kaz Havercourt breathing down his neck right now in the Van Amersfoort car, and surely might be considering making a move as well. Speaking of moves, also got some Santalok movements as well further down. And Esteban Masson getting right in the mix of that. Hadrian David as well down the inside as they look to try and hold position as they make their way through. A big contest here. Two Tridents as well, pretty much cemented together as we now see them rise their way up now. That, of course, being Roman Belinsky, who is looking to try and make a charge here as well. Two Tridents arm in arm as they make their way up through over the crest. But here's the battle for the lead once again. Still is Kamara, who's out in front. Tramnitz in behind as well. Further back, Stenshorn, who's still keeping Antonelli at bay, even though he's starting to turn the screw. Further back as well, Lorenzo Fluscher, who's waiting to pounce on any opportunity. Some more movements as well, but the Trident cars swapping places here at this point. Belinsky giving up a place and in effect to his teammates here at this point, so I'm not sure whether that was intentional or if at this point that was an overtake out on track, as now they look again down the inside as well. Belinsky really keen to get this race going as well. Nikhil Bora saying no, not yet, mate, as they make their way through Rivage and dip through towards the next left as they cascade through the Jackie X corner. What a fantastic start, certainly, for the Prema team. They have got every driver they could have wished for, obviously in the hope of scoring major points this weekend. Having, obviously, Rafael Kamara following suit after what he managed to achieve in qualifying is a huge win for them right now. Victor Bernier has jumped Joshua Dufek. Michael Belov getting ahead of Nikhil Bora as well. Kirill Small also trying to get himself into the mix. Belinsky trying to land a charge back as well, as we see the cars now whipping through the middle sector and head through down towards bus stop again. There is, of course, Stenshorn. As you can see at the bottom of the screen, though, he's class position 1 in the rookie standing. There's Stenshorn just behind Tramnitz. We're following him now as he makes his way down through towards Blanchimont-Chil. Still chasing his teammate, Tim Tramnitz, currently sat in second place with Antonelli in behind that of Stenshorn as well. He's done a great job of advancing that gap. Seems to be able to find something in that middle sector as we now see some side-by-side action as well between that of the Van Amersfoort. There's the MP as well. That's Victor Bernier trying to make his way through as they make their way down through towards the source yet again. It's still at this moment in time. Kamara, you take a look at the rookie standings as well, folks. Mea Wayuga, of course, part of this as well. She's currently second in that standing after that tremendous qualifying effort as well, which teed up a fantastic overall performance, as we're now seeing once again cars side by side. This is the RPM as well as it powers its way through. One, of course, belonging to none other than Santiago Ramos, who's trying to make some serious overtakes as well. He's got his teammate who's also looking to do the same, and that's Matteo Capietto, who's now looking to try and make a move on Josh Dirksen, who has been holding on for Arden for as long as possible, but it could come under threat now as they make the charge up through now towards Les Combes. Can Josh Dirksen defend the place? Capietto, just too good here at this point, moves himself up. Can he get the switch back, though, heading through Malmedy? We saw Gabriele Mini do this last year, not quite, unable to follow suit, but Josh Dirksen, don't count him out. He will never give up, the Paraguayan, as we're now seeing them make their way down through as well. And they've been joined by another feisty competitor as well as they dip down in towards the next right-hander. Mea Wayuga, that is, of course, as part of Kick Motorsport as they whip through Jackie X corner. Fantastic move, though, from Capietto now, who advances his cause yet again and moves into 6th place just behind Lorenzo Fluscher. But a sensational performance so far. RPM certainly have been a standout team. 2 podiums last time out when they went racing at Hungaroring. Santiago Ramos was certainly one to thank for that as well as they head through this middle sector, the Les Farniers chicane. Dirksen dropping off away from the RPM just that little bit, and is actually employed the uses of a mental coach as well in order to counteract any discrepancies after the race. Obviously, drivers after a race, they can feel mentally exhausted. It's a challenging sport, obviously, in motorsport, and naturally when these drivers are going and certainly trying the limits of this very sport, it can be wearing. But Josh Dirksen imploring not only the physical training but also mental training as well, which is everything to a driver, certainly when you're out on track. And certainly a great competitor such as Josh Dirksen, always smiling in the paddock as well, loves what he does here, certainly in the World of Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine. And today, certainly very feisty as well. In fact, just saying that, he's just gone off wide at this point as he made his way through bus stop, being joined once again by Maya Wiyuk, who's had a fantastic weekend. She's on the grass though, managed to recover and save the car, and now this brings her under threat from Victor Bernier. Round the outside now, heading through. Oh, a bit of contact there on the outside of the source as they come together, and Maya Wiyuk able to at least hold on to the position, at least for that moment. Dipping into that grass did not help. It offered an opportunity for Bernier, who tried to turn the screw, heading in towards the source. He might yet get another go. We've got more battles further back. Ramos trying to close on Josh Dufek, as well as many others. They're all coming up in tandem, nose to tail. The gap's thinner than a fly's eyelash now as they look to traipse up through towards Les Combes. There you see more movement further back. There is Dirksen. There is Wiyuk. Outside line. It's a favourable line sometimes, and it is for Wiyuk. A big launch there as she makes her way forward. Maya Wiyuk, tremendous stuff here in this race at Spa, managing to loft her hopes further up the field, and now getting past that of Josh Dirksen, who tries it again through Rivage but is unable to answer. An incredible battle, certainly between two great drivers, and she has delivered a display, Maya Wiyuk, and once again now 7th place overall for the Kick Motorsport driver, still lying in 2nd in the rookie standing as well, just in behind that of Martinia Stenshorn, who himself has also had a stellar season, as we see Victor Bernier having another look down the inside, this time of Dirksen too. Very, very feisty midfield battle this is, or certainly mid-top 10 at this point. And now as they come through the Lafanier chicane, and they'll deep down into the Campus and Stavelo section, which you've got to be careful then on the throttle, because you have got the gravel trap just on the left-hand side. We've seen a couple of cars dip into it, but no such issue for these in the top 10. As they hurtle now down through towards Blanchimont once again. 18 minutes and 50 still to go, as the fields start to sort themselves out. Roman Belinsky into 14th still, showing a good deal of pace, just ahead of Kaz Havercourt, who's managed to actually jump Tom Leben, as well as Hadrian David, who is also trying to move up a few places. Coming in for ART, of course, as part of our Race GP as well, the team that is currently top in the standings coming into the weekend. And oh goodness me, we got a bit of a tussle. And speaking of Hadrian David, he's part of this conglomerate as well, and a massive swap there as they come together, heading through bus stop. Hadrian David, a real stellar move there as well, and Kaz Havercourt also in the mix. He's further up as well. We've got also other names to throw into this. Tom Leben, Owen Tangavelu is also up there as well. Plenty of movers and shakers as they come in towards La Source. Defensive driving there from Hadrian David as they come through on the right-hand side, as we now see as well Owen Tangavelu trying to make moves. Oh, there's a car off. Oh, okay. Not quite sure which one that is. Looks like it might be a number 29, did I read correctly? Is that Enzo Scianti who's gone off there at the gravel trap? I think it might be. We'll have to wait and see. It's a yellow flag at turn 1 for sure. It has been called by race control, but the car's still going prosaically on, and we're seeing battles as well further up there as well. Cracking move there from Michael Belov as he comes under convincing pressure, but managing to deal with it, getting past Santiago Ramos for that 11th place. Heading through now towards Malmedy, and will deep down now in towards Rivage. But a cracking moment, to say the least. There's Ramos, of course, just licking his wounds after that move from Michael Belov, who now makes his way through the Jackie X corner now. And the safety car has indeed been called, folks. We've got confirmation, yellow flag, safety car out on track after the incident, heading through turn 1. This is the replay. And there we can see it. Enzo Scianti, I believe it is. I'm just having a look to see on my screen. It looks like 29. Can't quite see the number. I think it is, yes. Enzo Scianti, who unfortunately comes unstuck at La Source. And they have brought the JCB out on track to come and lift the car out of the gravel trap. But heartbreak certainly for him. Hasn't been an easy weekend. Of course, started from the rear of the field, in amongst that of Adam Fitzgerald as well. And Monolite still chasing for some points, certainly for this season. And have a very passionate crew behind them as well, as we now see Rafael Camara in first place, just leading the cars down through towards bus stop. Tim Tramnitz in behind, Martinia Stenshorn there as well, leading rookie in this classification, and currently on the way of achieving yet another podium for his team as well to boot. And I'm sure he'll be looking to bring that home certainly for his team RSGP, currently on the verge of claiming a big result. In fact, a big result for the two top teams in this championship. Prema, as I said, 5 cars in the top 5, with Lorenzo Fluscia being part of this as well. He's also scored points this season. He scored 12 points in our opening round at Imola. And his next bumper of points came with another 12 at Barcelona, with 2 and 18 at Hungaroring as well. So it's been a stellar season for Fluscia as well, who's also trying to advance his charge. And Prema, I think, will be absolutely thrilled with the, certainly the drive that these teams have made, certainly their team and their driver conglomerate. Of course, following on from last season's very successful lineup. Of course, that was Sebastian Montoya, as well as Dino Beganovic and the likes of Paul Aron, who have now since gone ahead and moved up to the world of Formula 3. Many of these drivers will have the same ambitions on their mind as well. And Formula Regional European Championship certainly has delivered many a quality racing driver that we have now seen lift themselves through and up the echelons of motorsport as well. Rafael Kamara currently leading the charge. There you can see all the cars just filing into line. There's the 2 Tridents as well. Roman Belinsky, of course, we saw him in the midst of a battle as well, and his teammate Mikhail Bora, who is in tow, as we can see. Certainly more and more cars peeling over the crest and down through Rivage as well. Adam Fitzgerald in behind as well. Safety car in this lap, so not a lengthy safety car stint. So the Marshall's doing a stellar job, as they always do, of removing the incidents here this weekend. And they are going to be put to the test this weekend too, given the fact that obviously we have a bumper load of cars taking part here at Spa. And not just single-seaters, but plethoras of sports cars, GT3s, GT4s, you name it, we've got it. As now we see the cars make their way down through towards Pouhon. And here's the replay of an incident we're seeing around turn 1 at La Source. And there we see, bit heavy on the brakes and spinning. Yeah, we just see there, just heavy on the brakes. And then, of course, getting back onto the throttle, just catches out the car 99. That, of course, being Giovanni Maschio, who unfortunately went off at that segment. And not an ideal run around that first corner indeed for him. But a very, very busy race so far. Lots of action, overtakes as well. We've also witnessed safety cars as well. But very, very good start nonetheless. The drivers obviously giving a good account this weekend so far. We've obviously seen many of them looking to attribute points. Of course, the point system here in Formula Regional follows that of the Formula 1 point system as well. So very easy to keep track of. And naturally, up at the sharp end, Kamara could be on the cusp of bringing home a bumper 25 points to his cause as he now makes his way around the Blanchimont corner. Obviously, he's going to be the pace car effectively at this point. The safety car will be coming in as he now puts his foot to the floor and brings them back up to speed, and already jostling for position as they come down through towards the bus stop chicane. And there you can see Maya Wiyuk further back as well, trying to get into the mix. Lorenzo Fluscia is going to be certainly very busy, with Matteo Capietto hot on his heels, as well as they put pedal to the metal for the second time in this race now. And Lorenzo Fluscia now looking to give chase, certainly to his teammate Andrea Kimi Antonelli. There we see as well Joshua Dirksen trying to make his way through as well, trying to get past that of Maya Wiyuk, who is still holding on to a position too. Hadrian David also going deep down the inside as well, as we see more side-by-sides as they peel on out of the source. Now, one off into the gravel trap. That's a Santaloc car. That's a Santaloc, and that's Emerson Fittipaldi Jr., who's off at turn 1 and is now reduced to the tail end of the field. Not ideal after a safety car restart. He's going to have to try and get himself back up to speed. 2 cars now cutting off at Eau Rouge and Radion, and that very nearly caught a car out as well. Further back, they run side by side, heading up now through towards Les Combes. They're still, though, holding positions, no concerns, as they now peel on up, heading through the next chicane. And MP Motorsport coming to join the fun as now they creep on through, creep and peek through this next segment, through Malmedy. Still no moves just yet, though, up at the sharp end. It's still Kamara taking the lead, certainly holding the lead, with Tramnitz in behind and Stenshorn in third place. Antonelli picking all over the rear of Stenshorn's car. He's still within the time gap as they peel on down through now, out of the Jackie X bend. Down now towards Pouhon once again. Kamara still out on top. There you see the trail of cars following on in hot pursuit. It certainly has been a very feisty battle, as we now see the other Arden, that of course being Tom Leben, under pressure from Sami Meghatunev, as well as they head out in towards the middle sector, heading down now through towards the next left and right. That, of course, being the Lafanier chicane. Tom Levin going very deep, though, into the chicane. Not an ideal line, and Sami Megatunif is able to strike at that very distinct spot, pulling off the move in brilliant style. And now that will allow Hadrian David to also make a move himself. Tom Levin, a victim here off the back of a mistake, heading through Lafanier. He's lost 2 more places, and through goes Hadrian David and Esteban Masson in tandem here around the middle sector as they make their way down through towards Blanchimont. And that is exactly what mistakes at Spa can do to you. Certainly a costly one there and an unfortunate one for Tom Levin. He's got to try and pick himself back up again for Arden, as now we're seeing more and more cars come through the bus stop once again, as we now see them. There's the RPM just locked in behind. You've got a Kick Motorsport there in the mix as well. The other Arden also trying to make its way through. There's Antonelli and his teammate Flusha in behind. They're both trying to gain on the R-Race GP cars. There's another move here, this time Joshua Dirksen under distinct pressure because Victor Bernier now moves ahead around Le Source. A cool calculated move. A little rumble over the strip as well. Don't touch the gravel. You don't want to go in there. We already have seen Enzo Scianti unfortunately dip in there earlier on himself, as we're now seeing the cars rise up through Rouge and Radion again. Now that's Victor Bernier, who has only just overtaken Joshua Dirksen, but Dirksen now looking to try and press the matter further back as well. Another fight being developed here between that of Joshua Dufek and that of Santiago Ramos, who now go side by side as they now make their way through towards that Lecom section. More battles further up as well. The 2 RPM cars are going to gain places, and Ramos has done it as well. There you see as well Josh Dirksen still peppering the back of Victor Bernier. Further up in front of them as well, Matteo Capietto is also trying to hold place. Maya Weyug also doing everything she can to keep him behind. Amazing moment, but certainly at this point a stellar drive from those concerned. Josh Dufek also losing out here at this place to Michael Belov, who has now moved up into 10th place. So a massive restart here, and we're down to the final 9 minutes already. And we can confirm, folks, the message from Race Control, the lap 1 incident between cars 26 and 13 will be investigated after the race. So that's between Levente Ravesh and that as well of car number 13 as well. And so that's an unfortunate mix-up there. That's Joshua Dufek, incidentally. So that's being looked at after the race, folks. So stand by. The stewards will be getting involved after this race is over, as we're now seeing the cars now venture through Campus and Stavolo. And still in the lead, it is Rafael Camara. Tim Tramnitz holding on firm as well. Maya Weyug doing a tremendous job keeping Matteo Capietto in behind as well. These two have been going at it convincingly. Capietto just setting the purple first sector in this lap as well, so definitely showing that he has the pace. Camara has just posted the purple second sector, literally coming out now of the mid-sector, heading into sector 3 now, as they coast down through out of Blanchimont towards the bus stop chicane. And there we can see Victor Bernier, fresh after tackling that of Joshua Dirksen. They make their way around as well, near enough 2x2 further back then as well as the Trident car as they spin the rears, heading through the final section, coming out now of turn 19. Make their way down through towards turn 1. We've got some side-by-sides as well further back. Lawrence Van Hoopen has managed to overtake Owen Tangavelu. Oh, another dip into the gravel trap for Michael Belov as well. We saw it in the rear of shot there, as we're now seeing Victor Bernier. He's hunting Maya Weyug right now. There she is, making her way through Eau Rouge and Radion, but she's going to come under some serious pressure, because here comes the MP Motorsport, gleaming in orange, looking to charge a pursuit here up the Kemmel Straight. A big, long charge it is as well, as they make their way up towards Lecom. Cool and calculated. It certainly will be Victor Bernier, a brilliant Bernier indeed. And there further back, of course, Joshua Dirksen trying to maintain his place as well, as it comes under threat from that of Michael Belov in behind, who had an unfortunate error coming out of turn 1. Just got those rear tyres spun on the curb, and naturally the car took a little bit of extra time to get away out of turn 1, but the car's now encroaching through the Jackie X bend once again. Fascinating fight here in this mid top 10 place. Is certainly all the way down as well to around P13 as well, because Josh Dufek has been certainly trying to apply his trade against Roman Belinsky. Belinsky's had a very strong race as well, has been working hard to try and garner everything he can. Didn't have the most ideal of qualifying sessions, but certainly made some strides after a tricky run yesterday as well. There's Camara now peeling through the right and left as well. He's got another double right to take, heading through that of 14 and 15, Campus and Stavolo, where he'll enter sector 3 this time around. And as we now see Tim Tramnitz, who has dropped off just ever so slightly. The gap now has in fact gone out to over a second. It's 1.1 here at this point. 6 minutes and 10 still to go. Kamara, if he can control this now, break that slipstream, that will bode well in terms of him achieving a race win here this weekend at Spa. There is Stenshorn, still the class position leader as part of the rookie conglomerate, has been leading that championship now since the start of the season and will continue to do so, certainly after a result such as this. We now see cars coming together again, and this is also Roman Belinsky coming under fire, challenging certainly in the sharp end, Kaz Havercourt as well as they make their way down through towards the source. Havercourt getting Belinsky heading through the final sector. Belinsky looking to try and tag him back as they head through now turn 1. And Belinsky just trying to prep the car and go again as he makes his way up through towards Eau Rouge and Radion as well. He's got Joshua Dufek right behind him too. Looks like Dufek has lost out a couple of places there in the process. Nikhil Bora losing out to Hadrian David as well. There you can see Bora, David just ahead as well. A very standout livery there for David in his return race. As the cars now make their way up through towards Les Combes once again, and there we can see it once again, another battle starting to brew. There is Michael Beloff coming under fire again, this time from Joshua Dirksen again, and this time Roman Belinsky tries to challenge and take his place back off Kaz Havercourt, goes to the switchback, oh, collision, oh, goodness me, and that is the MP car that is stranded off at the side, and that one belonging to that of Sami Megatunov. He's in the gravel trap, and a safety car yet again deployed. A huge incident heading through, just a rear end, and naturally they always come together around Les Combes. They touch wheels and a little spin, and enough to pivot. Unfortunately, Sami Megatunov off at the gravel trap and careers his way into the gravel at Les Combes on exit towards Malmedy as well. So again, under safety car procedure, the cars will slow down. Sami Megatunov obviously frustrated, as you can imagine. Just see him there, the gesturing with his hands, and these drivers work so hard to obviously race here over the weekend. Obviously lots of work put in during qualifying, the testing, also the simulator work as well. And it's always unfortunate when unfortunately they get caught and lose out as a result in the gravel trap, and that's his race over. And very shortly we will give you a view to the incident as well, folks. Here is the replay incidentally. And there is Roman Belinsky, who was challenging on Kaz Havercourt, but this was the incident in question. A tag there as they made their way through. And unfortunately for Sami Megatunov, it was heartbreak heading through that section. And it was coming under fire from Joshua Dufek that did it. Obviously, there was pressure all around heading through Les Combes, multiple cars scrapping for places. And unfortunately, it was Megatunov who was the unlucky receiver of the incident. And is now out of the car. Good to see him safely out, though, as always, and the drivers certainly doing a stellar job, as well as the marshals. The marshals have been absolutely sensational this weekend. The safety car back out on track as we look to get this race certainly back underway. We'll soon have to see whether we will get a finish under green conditions. We've got 3 minutes to go, 2 minutes and 50 still to go now, as you can see. The time is still ticking down. This Hadrian David. We got plus a lap as well after the timer ticks down, so do not go away, folks. Anything can happen on the final run. Obviously, that gap that Kamara had managed to draw out ahead of that of Tramnitz. Remember, it was plus 1 second earlier on. That gap has now come crunching down because, obviously, under safety car rule, they have to be bunched up together once again, which gives Tramnitz another shot at the race lead should he get himself in the slipstream. Don't forget, they've got the push to pass at their disposal as well, which they can use to execute the moves. It could be possible that we could see something very late on. There is the MP Motorsport now being lifted off the track, off the gravel, and safely off as well. A very efficient removal there from the marshalling team. Hopefully very soon we'll have the safety car back in as they now encroach through the Jackie X corner once again. And still Kamara, who leads the way, obviously coming off the back of some solid points finishes, but nothing quite as sensational as this, and I'm sure he will treasure it. It has been such a busy season for all concerned. Has scored some decent points. His biggest finish coming off the back of Imola, so you'll welcome this return. Was delighted with his qualifying performance when we spoke to him earlier on as well. And, Rafael Kamara, I'm sure, will be looking to bring more to his team at Prema as well, but currently sat with 3 cars in the top 5 is no mean feat for the team in red. But keenly enough, you have got Tramnitz and Stenshorn in 2nd and 3rd, so the championship don't get us wrong, folks, it is still going to be in hot pursuit. We've got plenty more rounds of racing still to go. This calendar, of course, that we have this season, as we get confirmation, the safety car will be coming in this lap. So effectively, should we get across the line, we should get +1 lap again after this one. We will hopefully get some of that. So 2 potential laps on the table here for the drivers as they make their way down through towards the final sector. All depends on whether they cross the line first, though, before that timer comes to an end. There you can see now Kamara just slowing them up as they look to get back underway. Tramnitz in behind in second, Stenshorn in third. Little gap then being shown, but I'm sure that'll be bunched right back up. Kaz Havercourt up there as well. As we come down now into the final 30 seconds, there you can see it, folks. If that timer goes to 0 prior to crossing the line, then we will be on the final lap of the race. And if we do have enough time, then of course they'll have effectively 2 laps. But in they come now, down through towards the final bus stop chicane. There's Kamara, and I think it is just going to be 1 final lap here at this point, because we're in the dire seconds, and indeed slow enough at this stage. Kamara not making any moves. He only wants 1 more lap. He doesn't want to throw anything else in jeopardy. We have just got 1 more lap to go. The safety car will peel in as now the cars get back underway. And now as they make their way down through towards the bus stop chicane, sorting themselves out into position. Tramnitz still in second. There is Martinia Stenshorn, as well as further back Antonelli, who is still trying to push for a podium. And it will be pedal to the metal for the 3rd time in this race now. Kamara now makes his way down through towards turn 1. In behind, Tramnitz trying to get into the aero of the race leader. Stenshorn as well in behind, who's defending. Antonelli makes a mistake. A lock-up down the inside. It hasn't cost him too much, I don't think, but spinning the tyres on the outset certainly won't help and could effectively put him at risk from his teammate Lorenzo Fluscia in 5th place as well. A massive moment that could have just cost him a potential podium on the table. Here comes Lorenzo Fluscia. He's going to look to undo the work his teammate has done. The 2 Premers now lifting up towards the Kemmel Straight. 1 final lap of magic. Here it comes. Lorenzo Fluscia now ends up through towards Lecombe section. There you can see Antonelli trying to close it off. In behind Matteo Capietto, part of this. Antonelli defends brilliantly here at this point. Holds on to 4th place at this point. But Fluscia comes back down the inside as they cut through Malbeni. No move can be made. It's still Antonelli who holds on to his place. Further back, Matteo Capietto as well, looking very threatening on the back of Fluscia's car. It looked like it was all home and hosed and sealed for Fluscia, but a brilliant bit of defending from Antonelli to hold back the tirade when he needed it most. Certainly has garnered him that 4th place spot, at least for now. Can he bring it home, though? That's the big question. It's still a matter of 2 sectors to go in this closing lap. Kamara still out in front, has led all the way and has certainly delivered a clinic. Another look down the outside now as we have more battling further down. Lawrence Van Hoopen and Tom Leben coming together again this time as well, as now through the Lafanier chicane they go. It's Kamara, Tramnitz, Stenshorn, RHGP decorating Ps 2 and 3 on the podium, but it is still Kamara who's adding that 1 little bit of Prema onto that top step at this point as well. The time has ticked to 0, folks. This is the final lap, and certainly now the cars now jumbling for position, trying to scrap for any points, any matter of points they can muster here in these closing stages. As there you see Tom Leben make his way through. There's Lawrence Van Hoopen trying to make a charge here in the last dying moments of this race. But I have to say, it's all sewn up. It's been a sensational weekend for this man so far. Rafael Kamara, who went fastest in collective test 1, came back in qualifying, went pole here for this race earlier on today. It's Rafael Kamara. He wins race 1 here at Spa-Francorchamps in the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine. A coast up to the line now as we see more battles further up. Santiago Ramos getting ahead of Joshua Dirksen right at the very last minute. But it's Prema perfection here at Spa. They have got Rafael Kamara in P1. 3 cars in the top 5, plenty of points. Tim Tramnitz and Martinia Stenshorn bringing home a bumper load of points as well for RHGP. A stellar showing. Martinia Stenshorn also taking the rookie win as well. But what a finale, what a race. 2 safety cars, it did not hinder the action. We had lots of it. Plenty of the cars there making their way, funneling their way into the pits, and very soon into Parc Fermé. But there'll be one man in particular who will be thrilled. His first race win this season. It's Rafael Kamara, off the back of a busy season for Prema, which has seen mainly Antonelli fighting up at the sharp end as well. Kamara has been giving absolutely everything, has a solid career behind him as well as a young driver. and is definitely looking for more, I think, at this point. But this is a nice way to start, to say the least. And the Brazilian will no doubt hop out of his car. I can imagine the scenes when he lifts the wheel off the cockpit, climbs out. You can't imagine the heat, certainly. It hasn't been the hottest weekend so far. We've had hottest, but Rafael Camara, he celebrates its victory as we now see him step out. Here are the results now from that superb race. Rafael Camara, your race winner. Tim Tramnitz in second. Martinius Stenshorn finished in third. Andrea Kimi Antonelli in fourth place with Lorenzo Flusha in fifth. Matteo Capietto in sixth with Victor Bernier in seventh. Meir Weyug in eighth place with Santiago Ramos in ninth. Joshua Dirksen in 10th with Michael Belov in 11th place. Kaz Havercourt in 12th. Roman Belinsky in 13th. Joshua Dufek in 14th as well. Nikhil Bora in 15th with Hadrian David in 16th place. As we now bring you as well, folks, the highlights from this race. And here they are, folks. Obviously getting underway. It was a tremendous fight up at the sharp end, of course, but Rafael Camara doing absolutely brilliantly to maintain certainly the lead right from the get-go. Did a tremendous job, certainly off the back of a very, very testing start. The two RHGP cars gave it everything. It certainly was Tim Tramnitz who took up second place, followed up as well by the other RHGP car of Martinius Stenshorn. There was an error further back though. The car number 99 belonging to that of Giovanni Maschio, unfortunately coming unstuck. We saw yet more battling as well between the MPs. It got very, very tight as well and very hefty on the brakes. It did unfortunately bring an end to, well, certainly did end up in a dip into the gravel trap for a car further back for Monolite as well. Emerson Fittipaldi, of course, would also make a trip into the gravel trap, recovering, though, out onto the circuit to recover the deficit. But certainly Camara led all the way, did absolutely sensationally to manage the pace. As well, further back then, we had more incidents. There was an incident involving Sami Megatunov, who came together with a car further back as well, ended up in the gravel trap, but got out of the car okay. It would be Camara who would take the win, certainly at this stage, in tremendous fashion, with that of Tramnitz in behind, with Martinius Stenshorn in behind for third place. A double for RHGP. And there we have it, folks. In Rafael Camara, they found a winner. Prema looking absolutely on fire at this point. RHGP, Tim Tramnitz in second, with Stenshorn in third. They will go again, though, when we go racing tomorrow morning. Make sure you join us live. We'll see you then, folks.